Hey, we're talking about friendships and we're talking about how we friend so hard, man. We try hard to be a good friend to somebody and you're working on it and I'm working on it and we've been growing the last few weeks and I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been fun for you. Hopefully you've gotten to know some of your friends a little better around the group. And if you want to continue, there's a way to do that. If you want to continue as a group, we've got an awesome way for you to continue. And we've prepared a curriculum of New York Times best-selling author Bob Goff in his book Love Does, which is awesome, talking about God's love. Take a moment just to check this out.
Do you ever feel just stuck? Like you had all these hopes and dreams about what your life would be like, and you want to weave together your faith and your life, and you're just at this place where you can't move. Well, I was thinking about some of those things, and I wrote a book called Love Does. And it was helpful to me in thinking through what the next steps are. Like, what do I do to live into the person that Jesus made me to be? And how can I learn more about him along the way? And you know what the answer for me was? I did stuff. I know that sounds crazy, but I just started doing stuff. And the more stuff I did, the more I learned about him. We put together some curriculum, some DVDs and some written materials. We hope you'll take a look at them in your small groups and ask these questions of each other. Have these conversations happen about, like, what's the next step for you? How do we go do love? Not just agree with Jesus or gather a bunch more information about, but like, what's the next step? So I hope when you read these materials, when you look at the DVDs, when you're meeting in your small groups, you'll ask these questions about love, and then you can relate to each other times where you've seen how when you do stuff, what you've learned more about who God made you to be and more about who he is along the way. Because love isn't just a bunch of stuff we agree with. Love does.
You know, when I was in college, it was a pretty crazy time for me. I worked full-time and went to school full-time, and I remember one specific semester, I was about to take my final exam. It was a history exam or something like that, and I was studying late into the night, getting ready for the final, and I had to get up. The exam was at 8 a.m. that morning. So I remember in Lubbock, Texas, going to bed that night, tired, getting a few hours sleep before the final. And I woke up and I looked at the clock in a panic because it was 8 a.m. when I woke up, the very time I was supposed to be there taking my final. Filled with fear, I jumped out of bed. I grabbed whatever clothes I could put on. I threw them on. I stomped around the whole house. The roommates woke up. I grabbed my keys. I ran to my car. I illegally parked on Texas Tech's campus. I ran into Holden Hall, which is in that building was a large conference room that was about 400 people filled up that classroom. And as soon as I opened that door, it was like in unison, 400 heads just turned to look straight at me. As if, who is this crazy idiot that's coming in 20 minutes late for this final? Well, that was me. And what was pretty amazing is none of them looked back at their test. They continued to stare at me. I thought it might be because of my handsome, rugged, good looks, or, I didn't know what it was, but I just continued to walk down to the front to get the test so I could finish the final from the teacher's assistant. When I got down there, I noticed they're still looking at me. I don't know what's going on. And there's a few people that are starting to laugh. What is this? The teacher's assistant looked at me, and I knew him. He and I had connected before. He said, "Daniel, here's your test, but your zipper is wide open." And I looked down in front of 400 people, and sure enough, my zipper was wide open because of the quickness in which I got ready. He said, "Not only that, your shirt's inside out and backwards." And sure enough, there's the tag right in front. And everybody's began to laugh at me in that moment. You know what? Even though it was obvious, I'm so grateful for this teacher's assistant telling me what was going on. And my question for you is, are you the kind of friend that tells your friend when their zipper's down? Are you the kind of friend that tells your friend when there's something in her teeth? Like, what kind of friend are you and why? So take a moment in your group, pause the video, you guys discuss, talk amongst yourself, what kind of friend are you? A friend speaks the truth. This is just true of friendship. A real friend is going to tell you honestly what's going on. The Bible talks about this and speaks of this in important ways. Proverbs 27:6 says this, "Wounds from a friend can be trusted, but an enemy multiplies kisses." See, truth is foundational for trust, and trust is foundational for friendship. We've experienced this. The relationships you have that have meant a lot to you, there's been conflict in them. There's been moments where they said something that could wound you, but you knew that because they loved you and you trusted them, that you could continue on in that relationship and that there was something you needed to hear in what they had to say. I have experienced this many times throughout my friendships. Matter of fact, it wasn't long ago, I sat into a meeting with other friends and pastors and leaders, and we were in a meeting working on things together, and one of my good friends recognized that I had a bad attitude in the meeting. I operated wrongly. I said some things I shouldn't have said. And he confronted me after the meeting, said there was something wrong there, and he didn't let me get away with it. And at first, my initial response is to be offended. But I knew that this friend loved me and cared about me. And I evaluated myself, and he was right. And I know that when a friend is honest, you can trust them. My wife, Kayla, has been one of the major truth tellers in my life. And I and hers. We can be honest with each other because we're friends. Here's what I want to ask you today. I want you guys to take a moment to discuss within your group. Why is hearing the truth so valuable in friendship? Why does it matter that you hear the truth from your friends? And why is it so hard to say? Why is it so hard to say, and why is it so hard to hear? Whether you're the one saying the truth, you're the one hearing the truth. Take a moment to discuss this together as we continue on in working on how we can become the friends that God wants us to be.